My mom's been quite cold on WhatsApp lately. She used to call me sweetie pie all the time. I had to sweet talk her for ages before she started calling me sweetie pie again. A month later, my mom suddenly sent me a friend request. Why did you delete mommy, sweetie? I stared pensively at the contact with the same lotus avatar as my mom's. If this was my mom, then who was the one I'd been sweet talking? The next day, the aloof top student was waiting outside my dorm with a small cake. Hello, sweetie pie. Ding! This novel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. I'm a true mummy's girl, always sharing every little thing with my mom. Today, I had an incredibly delicious egg tart. I took a selfie with the half-eaten tart pressed against my cheek and sent it to my mom. This egg tart is super yummy. I texted. The reply came almost instantly, Flora Stratton? I felt a pang of disappointment. It's only been 2 days since I last messaged you, and you're already this cold to me? You even used my full name. Call me baby. No, call me sweetie pie. There was a 3-minute silence before she replied, Are you sure about this? You're really asking me if I'm sure, given our relationship? Another 3-minute pause, then, sweetie pie. I sent back a gif of a kitten wiggling its bum. That's more like it. My roommate called up to me from below. Flora, come down and see if my new dress looks good. I pulled back the bed curtain to see Lena Gill twirling in front of the mirror in a pink spaghetti strap dress. I must have gained weight recently. Size M used to fit perfectly, she complained. Flora, you're skinny. Why don't you try it on? If it fits you, I won't return it. I tumbled out of bed. As you wish, Your Majesty. But if it fits me, will you give it to me? I asked cheekily. Lena rolled her eyes. In your dreams. You'll have to pay for it. After I changed into the dress, it did indeed fit perfectly. The color suited me, and the size was just right, as if it was tailor-made for me. I batted my eyelashes at Lena. Admit it, you've got a crush on me, haven't you? Ignoring my teasing, she simply held up 2 fingers. 200 pounds. I checked my WhatsApp balance, 800 left, but we were only halfway through the month. So, I took a photo of myself in the pink dress in front of the mirror and sent it to my mom. Us mummies girls have a motto, when in doubt, ask mom. I sent her a voice message, What do you think of my new dress? Does it look good? Mom replied instantly, It looks lovely, suits you perfectly. I sent another voice message, this time in a wheedling tone. But I'm a bit short on cash. Could I maybe have a 200-pound advance? My mom actually transferred 2,000 pounds directly to my account. I was so excited I nearly jumped up. Have you given me next month's allowance in advance? No, next month is next month. This is for buying a dress. I let out a chicken-like squeal in the dorm room. Ah. Mummy, I love you, like a mouse loves rice. I kissed the phone screen and then flashed the balance to my roommate. See that? Your girl's loaded now. Let's go shopping. Lena did a mock bow like a eunuch. As you wish, my lady. Before bed, I sent my mom a goodnight message. Mom replied, Good night. I sent a sticker of a doll saying wrong. It should be good night, sweetie pie. All right. Good night, sweetie pie. Just as I was about to fall asleep, my phone buzzed again. Shall I call you sweetie pie every day from now on? I was dead tired. Duh. You're my mom, after all. Sadly, I was too sleepy to type the second half. The next morning, my 3 roommates and I all overslept for our 8 a.m. class. I ran out wearing mismatched shoes. As soon as I got downstairs, I bumped into someone from the boys' dorm opposite. I looked up. It was Nathan Calvert, the heartthrob of our department. Nathan was excellent in his studies, looks, and family background. But he seemed to really dislike me. We're in the same society. I just got his WhatsApp contact the day before yesterday. He immediately asked what nonsense I was up to and said I was bizarre. My roommates all said, he looks quite aloof, but who knew he'd be so unfriendly when speaking? I originally wanted to confess to him on the spot, but when I thought of his tone, I swallowed my words. I couldn't let myself be looked down upon. I deleted him with a bang. However, Nathan's gaze today seemed a bit off. His eyes were deep, with a complex light flickering briefly, forming a stark contrast with the warm morning sunlight. I felt a bit uneasy under his stare. My roommate called from ahead, "Hurry up, Flora. We'll really be late." He must be mocking me for wearing the wrong shoes today. This morning was all general education classes. Bored out of my mind, I started pestering my mom again. "Miss me yet?" I texted. "Yes," came the reply. I sent a pouting emoji. "What else are you forgetting?" "Miss you, sweetie pie." How strange. My mom never needed reminding before, always calling me sweetie pie so affectionately. Could it be that now I'm at university, she doesn't love me as much? I decided to win back my dear mummy's affection. We'd been talking about going to a spa resort for ages, but never had the time. Fortunately, summer holiday was just around the corner. "When I'm on break, let's go to the spa. I've even picked out my swimsuit." I sent her a photo of the pink high-cut backless swimsuit I'd chosen. "What do you think?" "Not bad taste, eh?" Suddenly Mom stopped replying. Didn't she used to love these flashy swimsuits? Nathan Calvert, sitting in front of me, suddenly turned around stiffly and gave me an inscrutable look. He seemed to be biting his lip, a stark contrast to his usual ice-cold demeanor. "Mate, is that really necessary? So I wore the wrong shoes. Do you have to keep staring at me like that? Or is he holding a grudge because I deleted him?" While I was pondering this, Mum texted back. "Sounds good." It's settled then. As class ended, Nathan's desk mate noticed his ears and exclaimed, "Why are your ears so red? You're not coming down with a fever, are you?" At lunchtime, I went to the canteen with my roommates. I took a photo of my chicken casserole and sent it to my mom. So delicious. If only I could have a bubble tea after lunch. My mom didn't reply. I reckon she's probably having lunch with my dad and hasn't seen the message yet. My 3 roommates and I were hunched over our food when suddenly a bubble tea appeared before me. I looked up from the cup to see Nathan Calvert standing there in a black hoodie with sports headphones on, looking down at me with red ears. "For you," he said before walking away. My roommates and I were all stunned. Lena said, "He must feel bad about how rude he was to you before. And after you deleted him, he's trying to make amends." I tore open the bag, stabbed the straw in forcefully, and took a big slurp of the tapioca pearls. Even if he's trying to apologize and bought exactly the bubble tea I wanted, I won't forgive him so easily. I texted my mom. What if someone who was really rude to me before is now trying to apologize? Should I forgive them? I added, "He's incredibly handsome with a great body." My mom replied instantly, "Of course not. Also, what's this person's name? I'll go chop him up." Yikes, my mom's in quite a mood today. I quickly tried to calm her down. "It's nothing serious, don't be angry." My mom's been acting so strangely lately. I used to send her all sorts of random messages, but she was usually busy and would only reply to some of them. But recently, she seems to have a lot of free time. No matter what I send, even if it's just a punctuation mark, she always asks if everything's okay. A fortnight later, Lena told me she was in a relationship. And the guy happened to be Nathan's best mate. The rest of us eagerly pressed her for details. Lena explained sheepishly, "We've known each other for ages, but never really talked much. He used to do everything with Nathan, but according to my boyfriend, Nathan seems to have a crush lately." What? The 3 of us let out a meerkat-like squeal in unison. Lena continued, "He says Nathan's been chatting with this girl nonstop. And even saved her number as Sweetie Pie. He's got no one to play badminton with anymore, so we became badminton partners. We got closer after playing together often, and well, you know the rest." My other 2 roommates suddenly looked at me with sympathy. "It's all right, our Flora is so pretty. Even if Nathan doesn't appreciate her, there are plenty of other lads out there." Though meant to be comforting, their words left a sour taste in my mouth. So Nathan wasn't aloof after all, just aloof towards me. I quietly climbed into bed and buried my head under the covers. The next afternoon, I had a department event with Nathan. I didn't dare make eye contact with him once, keeping my head down the entire time. But Nathan's gaze kept drifting in my direction. What was that about? A look of pity? Nathan's mate Paul kept buzzing around him, chattering incessantly. Well, looks like our eternal bachelor has finally bloomed. Even saved her number as Sweetie Pie, eh? You better tell me when it's official. Such a gossip. I wonder what Lena sees in him. After the department event, I sent a message to my mom. I'm heartbroken. I really want to cry for a bit. Mom replied, "Oh, do you have another baby besides me? Is Mom going through menopause or something?" Her response made no sense. This baby isn't that kind of baby. You just don't understand me. I sent an angry message to my mom and didn't reply after that. For 3 days straight, I hadn't spoken to my mom. I felt there was a generation gap between us. She simply couldn't understand the pain a love-struck girl experiences after a breakup. It wasn't until the end of the month that I realized my mom hadn't sent my living expenses. I panicked. Hungry, food, broke, I texted, along with a gif of a little shark holding out a bowl for food. No money for food, she replied. In truth, I hadn't spent all of the £2,000 she'd given me earlier for a new dress. But she'd said herself that didn't count as living expenses. I sent another gif, this time of a crying cat. Please, oh great one, bestow upon me sustenance, I pleaded dramatically. My mum said nothing, but transferred £10,000 to my account. My hands shook as I hesitated to accept it. Did we win the lottery? I asked. No, but you're heartbroken. Go buy yourself something nice to eat. I'm sorry for my attitude before. Don't worry about it. We don't need to be so formal with each other. Indeed, there's no lasting grudge between mother and daughter. I quickly accepted the transfer and ordered some barbecue, seafood, and crayfish. The after effects of the breakup were still there, but my mind was now immersed in the spicy, fragrant flavors. It had no room to think about anything else. A week later, my roommate forwarded me a post from the university's confession page. Someone had snapped a photo of Nathan playing basketball on the sports field. A girl had posted it, asking, "Anyone know this handsome guy? And is he single?" Nathan had replied in the comments. "I like someone, but I haven't won her over yet." His reply had garnered over 100 more comments. I can't believe there's a girl our Nathan Calvert can't get. I'm impressed. Typical. Men always want what they can't have. I reckon it's because he's used to being pursued. He might not know how to chase someone himself. I nudged Lena sitting next to me. Does your boyfriend know who Nathan's crush is? He doesn't know exactly who, but he said a week ago Nathan transferred £10,000 pocket money to this girl. Just to comfort her after a breakup. I nearly choked. Lena looked pained as she said this. I almost feel sorry for Nathan. Even I hadn't expected that Nathan, with his usually aloof personality, would be fawning over someone like this. A few days later, someone with the same profile picture as my mom suddenly added me on WhatsApp. "Sweetie, why did you delete Mom?" the message read. I thought this person must have added me by mistake. How strange. That was until my mom called me. "Sweetie, I went on holiday to France last month and haven't had time to chat with you. But you shouldn't just delete your mom like that." My fingers froze on the phone, then I quickly swiped to the WhatsApp page. Oh no. 2 identical profile pictures, both a blooming golden lotus flower. I had never saved my mom's contact details, and she was always changing her nickname and status. She had kept this golden lotus flower profile picture for a long time because she said it brought good fortune. So I always identified her by her profile picture. But who was this person using the same profile picture as my mom? Chatting away with me, and even transferring me money? In the past month, the only person I had added and then quickly deleted was Nathan Calvert. I deleted him so fast that I didn't even notice what his profile picture looked like. A suspicion began to form in my mind, but I wasn't sure. I asked Lena to bring her boyfriend over to compare notes with me in person. The nickname, profile picture, and transfer time all matched up. Oh my. This can't be happening. I must be dreaming. I carefully typed out a few words. Are you Nathan Calvert? The reply came instantly, yes, sweetie pie. It wasn't just me there, but also Lena and her boyfriend Paul Huxley. I think the three of us each needed a quick-acting heart medicine. So, Nathan's crush was me? No, 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 this misunderstanding had gone too far. Although I was a big fan, a gentleman should pursue beauty through proper means. I had to clear things up with him. Nathan, I've been mistaking you for my mom this whole time because you have the same profile picture. I'm so sorry, it was a complete misunderstanding. Then I tried to return the £12,000 he had transferred to me. But he wouldn't accept it. So, was it also a misunderstanding when I called you sweetie pie? Yes. And the daily life updates we've been sharing for the past month? Yes. Please stop asking. I'm so embarrassed I could die. Flora Stratton, did you ever like me at all? Oh no, he must be angry and embarrassed now. Flora, say something. What am I supposed to say? Just thinking about those cheesy messages I sent to Nathan makes me want to punch myself in the face. I might as well go all in. With so many girls chasing after him, he'll surely forget about this in a few days. I turned off my phone and blocked Nathan. Yes, he just needs to cool down a bit. Lena pulled out a tissue from her pocket to wipe the cold sweat from my forehead, then asked Paul. Based on what you know about Nathan, he should forget about this in a few days, right? He doesn't seem like the petty type. Paul shook his head vigorously. Nathan is the type who either doesn't care at all, or goes all in. If it's the latter, not even 3 mules could pull him back. I muttered under my breath, would adding 1 more mule do the trick? I was distracted all afternoon in class. To make matters worse, it was a general education course, and I ran into Nathan again. I tried to hide behind Lena, sidling away as Nathan and Paul approached. I chanted in my head, don't see me, don't see me. But of course, Nathan's voice landed right above my head. Sweetie pie, was it fun playing me? Nathan was wearing a black trench coat today, his aura sharp and intimidating. In comparison, I felt like a little chick. It was all a misunderstanding. Surely you're not that petty. Everyone in the department always says how gentle you are. Though you don't talk much, you have a passionate heart. Though you're not very lively, you have a kind nature. There were only 5 minutes left before class started. The classroom for general education courses was always packed. Not just with our class but with several others from our department. Nathan suddenly bent down, his whisper just centimeters from my ear. Sweetie pie, do you know how many messages I sent you yesterday? Unblock me. I grumbled quietly, you can just call me by my full name, sweetie pie is so cheesy it's killing me. Nathan's face was cold enough to form icicles. Weren't you the one who told me to call you sweetie pie before? It's too late to back out now. I told you, it was all a misunderstanding. Nathan's voice suddenly softened. He stumbled a bit, almost falling onto my shoulder. Then why don't we just go with the flow? Wouldn't that be nice? The bell rang for class. But my heart felt like a beautifully frosted cake that had been smashed to pieces by a dog's paw. I unblocked Nathan on WhatsApp. This class was related to sociology, and the teacher posed a question. Now that you're all at university, I'm sure some of you have experienced romance. I'd like 2 students to answer a question for me. What do you think love is? I'll choose 1 male and 1 female student to answer. Let's start with a female. I watched as the profile pictures on the class app flipped rapidly, finally stopping on mine. Lena nudged me. Stop daydreaming, it's your turn. I took a deep breath and stood up. Professor, I'm not sure how to answer this question. As someone who's never been in a relationship, I tend to be attracted to people based on many external factors. Like most girls, I'm drawn to those who are handsome, talented, academically successful, and so on. That's how I felt too, but a misunderstanding allowed me to see a side of someone I never knew existed. It was completely different from what I had imagined. He usually seems like a brilliant ice cube. But in private he's so attentive and gentle, even showing a childlike side at times. I'm just a bit overwhelmed by it all. The teacher didn't fault me for not answering the question directly. Instead, she smiled and said, "It seems our female student has been experiencing some romantic confusion lately. Would any of the male students like to help her address this confusion?" As soon as the teacher finished speaking, Nathan stood up. "Professor, I've actually been reflecting on this topic recently. I hope I can help clarify some things for my classmate." He then turned to face me, as I was sitting behind him. I once came across a perspective from psychologist Brené Brown. Love is born in the moment when both parties dare to reveal their vulnerabilities without fear of judgment. I strongly agree with this. Love isn't a scale where you need to find the perfect counterweight to your half. My understanding of love is simple: it's being there when you're needed. All the exchanges Nathan and I had shared over the past few days flashed through my mind. Although I had treated him like my mother, opening up about everything, he had responded to each message, and whatever I needed, he was able to provide immediately. I felt like I was about to lose control. If we weren't in class, I probably would have run down and hugged Nathan. The classroom erupted in applause, and the teacher gestured for us both to sit down. "Class rep, please note down these two students' names. They'll each receive an extra point." After class, everyone rushed to the cafeteria for lunch, creating a surge of people. I had planned to find Nathan right after class to apologize to him. I also wanted to tell him that I initially added him because I wanted to confess my feelings. However, I searched against the flow of people for a long time but couldn't spot Nathan anywhere. Even by 11 p.m., as I was getting ready for bed, I still hadn't received any messages from Nathan. Instead, I got a message from my mom. "Sweetie pie, I heard you mixed up me and your crush. Does that mean you two have been chatting for a month?" Oh no, my call came at such a bad time. I should have stayed in France for a few more days. I sent a crying face emoji and replied, "You're even worse than Nathan." At least he wouldn't mock me. Besides, I should ask you why you suddenly said I was being ridiculous that day and asked what nonsense I was up to. It made me think it was Nathan who sent that, and I was upset for so long. My mom sent a voice message back. "I remember you bothering me every day, going on about how handsome Nathan is." I couldn't take it anymore, so I replied like that. "You should be thanking Mom." Oh no, I've actually gotten used to chatting with Nathan now. He would never be so sarcastic like my mom at every turn. When I woke up the next morning, I groggily saw the Lotus Flowers profile picture with a "Good morning, sweetie pie" message. I replied, "Morning, Mom." Suddenly, a voice call came through, and a clear, magnetic voice poured into my ear. "Flora Stratton, look carefully before you reply." "Ah, it's Nathan." "Wait, it's Nathan." I jumped up from the bed, accidentally bumping my head. "Nathan, I wanted to tell you yesterday. I initially added you because I wanted to confess to you. I thought you were the one who sent that message saying you hated me. So I deleted you, but I accidentally deleted my mom instead." There was a soft chuckle on the phone. "So I'm actually your crush, right, darling?" I had forgotten about that part. "That's not the point." Nathan's tone rose a bit, sounding slightly smug. "Get ready and come downstairs. I'm waiting for you." I was confused. "What for? Are you still holding a grudge against me?" "Silly, I'm pursuing you." Nathan cleared his throat again. "Miss Flora Stratton, would you like to spend a wonderful day with me? Does this count as a date then?" Yes, it does. After getting ready and putting on my makeup, I went downstairs to find Nathan leaning against a large tree, holding a cherry cake. It was the weekend, and there were many people around the dormitory. The crowds passing by blurred into shadows in my eyes. Only Nathan and the dark red cherry cake remained in focus. I felt a bit nervous as I slowly made my way to Nathan's side, keeping my head down. Before I could speak, he looked me over for a moment. "Why aren't you wearing that pink dress? Though this one looks lovely too." I had stuffed that pink dress into the back of my wardrobe. Just looking at it reminded me of how I acted coy with Nathan, making me want to crawl into a hole. I awkwardly walked with him along the path towards the university gates. Nathan opened the Notes app on his phone. So, we'll go to that amusement park you wanted to visit first. Then have lunch at that barbecue place you like but thought was too expensive. We can see a film in the afternoon, then have hot pot for dinner. Does that sound all right? To be honest, it was the first time I'd heard Nathan say so much in one go. And why did he even remember such details, like how I thought that restaurant was too pricey? I felt completely exposed in front of him. Pouting slightly in defiance, I said, "You have quite a good memory." Nathan leaned in closer to me. "I remember every word you've ever said to me very clearly." My mind involuntarily began recalling details of our conversations. "My period started today, I feel awful. I'm going to splurge and use nighttime pads every night. Ugh, that barbecue place looks so tempting in the review video. But it's so expensive, £500 per person. I'll have to save up. Wow, that Korean drama lead looks just like my crush. I want to ravish him." I stopped walking and tugged on Nathan's sleeve. Do you think you could forget the things I've said in our chats?" Nathan took the opportunity to hold my hand. "No way. I think it's adorable, that's the real you." My impression of him as aloof couldn't have been more wrong. "You should look in a mirror and see how shameless you're being," I said, holding up my phone screen in front of him. He tilted his chin up slightly. "Looking quite handsome, aren't I, sweetie pie?" We got into Nathan's car and headed to the amusement park. It was the weekend, so there were loads of kids around. Nathan and I were the only adults queuing for the Ferris wheel. Half an hour later, we boarded the largest Ferris wheel in the city, overlooking the entire urban landscape. As the scenery outside the window rose higher, my heart soared with it. Despite all the awkward misunderstandings between us, I never imagined a month ago that I'd be on a date with Nathan Calvert. When the Ferris wheel reached its peak, I kept moving closer to Nathan's side to get a better view out the window. His gaze kept sweeping across my face, making my heart flutter. I caught a glimpse of Nathan's face from the corner of my eye, and found him even more alluring than the view outside. Nathan's hand hovered near my waist but didn't quite touch it. "Be careful, don't fall," he said. "Then hold on to me properly," I replied. Only after I said this did his hand finally rest on my waist. His long fingers slowly tightened through my chiffon dress, their warmth spreading through my entire body. "Flora Stratton, why are you getting shy now? Weren't you fantasizing about Nathan with your mom all the time before? Flora, remember when you said my lips looked very kissable?" Nathan asked. "Can I say I don't remember?" I replied. "No, you can't." Nathan leaned down, and the pleasant scent of jasmine from his body reached my nose first. What followed was the soft, warm sensation of his lips on mine. As the Ferris wheel slowly descended, Nathan's hand on my waist pulled me closer to him. The slight jostling made us cling to each other even tighter. It was such a long, sweet kiss, starting from the highest point of the Ferris wheel and landing right in my heart. The physical contact suddenly brought Nathan and me closer together. I could now naturally hold Nathan's hand as we strolled through the amusement park. I felt a bit thirsty, so I asked Nathan to go buy some water. After he walked away, I sat on a park bench and shared the latest developments with my mom. "I just kissed him, he's so good at it." "Aw." That handsome face suddenly came so close to mine. "Can I request another one?" Nathan, who was walking back with the water from not far away, said nothing and kissed me again, holding the back of my head. This kiss was more domineering and aggressive than the last one. I was stunned. Looking down at my phone, I realized I had accidentally sent the messages to Nathan again in my excitement. "Nathan, can't you change your profile picture?" I asked. "I won't, but you can add a note for me, like boyfriend baby," he replied. Seeing that I still wouldn't agree, Nathan crouched down and put his head on my lap, staring at me intently. "Please agree, sweetie pie," he said. Nathan blinked his long-lashed eyes and even nuzzled my thigh with his face. Damn it, he got his way again. I changed his contact name as he wished. I bet if I told others that Nathan was like this in private, so clingy and persistent, no one would believe me. At the barbecue restaurant, Nathan had made a reservation well in advance. If he hadn't booked ahead, we probably would have had to queue for an hour. The pink meat sizzled on the grill, releasing a fragrant aroma of fat. Even though it was a table for two with seats on opposite sides, he insisted on squeezing in next to me. Nathan said sitting across from me made him feel empty, and he felt more at ease next to me. After dinner, during the movie, he held my hand and wouldn't let go for a moment. His cool, slender fingers slowly caressed my hand, then gently separated my fingers one by one, invading the spaces between them. Our fingers intertwined. I was actually quite curious. Although I'm not bad myself, Nathan is so outstanding in every way. Why would he be attracted to me? And why is his personality so different in public versus in private? I finally asked him this question while we were taking a walk by the river after dinner. It's because you're so full of life, vibrant in a way. I'm not sure if that's the right way to describe it, Nathan said. My parents are quite traditional. They believe in strict discipline and rarely share interesting little things with me, let alone have heart-to-heart talks. They're not bad to me, just very demanding. Over time, I developed this quiet personality, he continued. It's not that I don't want to communicate. It's more of a conditioned response. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing and getting negative feedback. I raised an eyebrow. You certainly talk plenty with me. That's thanks to this love that appeared in my life like a home invasion, Nathan replied. Besides, in my eyes, Flora, you're absolutely wonderful, he exclaimed. At every department event, you're the one livening up the atmosphere. You have so many friends, everyone wants to hang out with you. Wherever you go, laughter follows. Nathan hugged me by the river. Actually, I'm the one who's lucky to have you. Back at the dorm, Lena and the other two girls surrounded me. So? Did you two hug? Did you kiss? They asked eagerly. So, from the day you asked your mom for 200 pounds to buy a dress, you were already chatting with Nathan? Oh my God, that's so awkward and sweet. My face turned as red as if I'd had too much to drink. My mom was right, that profile picture really did bring me luck. Nathan was getting bolder and bolder. Before, I treated him like my mom, sending him hundreds of messages a day. Now the situation has reversed, with him sending me hundreds of messages daily. Baby, didn't you want to eat that lava cake yesterday? Shall we go after class? Baby, I don't have a badminton partner. Paul is always on dates and ignores me. Will you play with me? Baby, I cut my finger on a book today and it's bleeding. I need you to kiss it better. Baby, are we still going to that hot spring you mentioned before? Baby, when can I meet your mom? I felt like I was seeing a reflection of how I used to constantly chat with Nathan. After evening study hall, I went to the badminton court with Nathan, where we happened to run into Paul and Lena. Paul saw Nathan from afar and ran over, dropping his racket. He gritted his teeth. I just called you. Didn't you say you weren't coming? Nathan pushed Paul away and muttered quietly, don't say things you shouldn't. Then he pulled me to the other side. Darling, look at him, abandoning his friend for a girl. I'm all alone now, you must keep me company. On the last day of our sociology class, Nathan insisted on sitting next to me. When the professor saw us sitting together, her eyes crinkled with amusement. It seems this young lady has resolved her relationship issues. There were nearly 200 students in that lecture hall. How did the professor remember us so clearly? Nathan must have sensed my confusion. He leaned in and whispered, actually, the professor is my aunt. Oh no, I've been playing on my phone in class and skipping lectures. Will that give her a bad impression of me? Nathan looked down with a mischievous grin. Give me a kiss and I'll put in a good word for you. Ever since my mom found out I was dating, her gossip mode has been in full swing. Sweetie, let mommy tell you, you must use protection. I'm not ready to be a grandmother yet. I cut off her wild imagination. Mom. It's not like that at all. We haven't even. My mom sent a giggling emoji. I'm just giving you a heads up, dear. After all those risque things you told me before, your mother was quite worried. But I suppose I can't blame you. I was the one who chased after your father back in the day. That's how we ended up with such a gorgeous daughter. Like mother, like daughter. During summer break, I brought Nathan home to meet my parents. When he started unloading boxes of wine and health supplements from the boot of the car, I was stunned. It's just a casual dinner. You didn't need to go to all this trouble. Nathan said nothing, just silently carried the gifts upstairs. He brought so much that we had to take the lift up and down 3 times. The lift lobby was overflowing. Nathan took a deep breath and knocked on the door. As soon as it opened, Nathan bowed deeply at a 90-degree angle. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Stratton. I'm Flora's boyfriend. My name is Nathan Calvert. I live at 12, Stratton Road. I was born on April 17th. I'm an Aries. I'm 183 centimeters tall and weigh 74 kilograms. My parents are in the medical equipment business. I really like Flora." I gently tapped him. "You might want to look up first." It wasn't my parents who had opened the door, but our golden retriever who knows how to work the handle. The dog's brows furrowed as he looked between me and the still bowing Nathan. Then he let out 2 little huffs. Nathan's face turned bright red with embarrassment as my mum stood in the background, trying not to laugh. "Oh, you didn't need to bring anything, dear." At the dinner table, my parents couldn't stop staring at Nathan, their eyes practically dripping with honey. My mum said, "You know what I approve of most? This boy's taste in profile pictures. Just like mine. If it weren't for that misunderstanding, who knows if you two would have ended up together." I silently poked at the food in my bowl, not responding. When I walked Nathan downstairs after dinner, I asked him, "If I hadn't mistaken you for my mom and just confessed to you directly instead, you probably would have rejected me." Nathan's lips quirked up suddenly. "Do you remember how you got my WhatsApp contact? Lena and Paul are close, so Paul gave it to her." Nathan stood at the bottom of the steps and wrapped his arms around my waist as I stood on the step above. "That rascal Paul wouldn't dare give out my number to anyone without my permission." Nathan's perspective. At the start of uni, I met an adorably cute girl in our department. I think her name was Flora Stratton. During the freshman welcome event, she sang Yellow Submarine with her hair in 2 buns, looking like a little doll. I really wanted to get to know her. But how do I even start a conversation? In second year, I became vice president of the student union. I thought we could organize more team-building activities. I wanted to hear that little bunhead sing again. Her roommate asked Paul for my WhatsApp. That git Paul actually refused. Paul said, "I didn't know Lena was asking for her roommate. I thought she fancied you herself, which can't be allowed." I punched him right then. "Hurry up and give her my WhatsApp. Little bunhead's quite lively, isn't she? She started recommending egg tarts to me right away. She told me to call her Sweetie Pie. She even said I should call her Sweetie Pie every day from now on." This happiness came on rather suddenly. Bloody hell, who made our little bunhead heartbroken? I'd better not find out his name. I'll send her some money to cheer her up. Maybe I can take advantage of the situation now. The sky is falling. It turns out little bunhead mistook me for her mom. What does that make me then? Wait, things might not be so bad after all. Looks like I was her secret crush all along. Secretly delighted. A wonderful date, and now I have a girlfriend. How do I get enough of kissing her? Little bunhead's lips are so sweet. Even that dog Paul has a girlfriend now and still wants me to play badminton with him. I need to save all my time for my girlfriend. It might be a bit sly, but I don't care. I met the mother-in-law. I was so nervous, I ended up talking to a dog for ages. Looks like my in-laws quite like me. A beautiful day.